Hi everybody, Robert Dyer, and welcome to the Robert Dyer channel Christmas Countdown, where today we have a couple of, let's say it's a two-fisted review of what they call trailer park candy canes. Holy smokers, these are two spicy Jack Links sausages that are made in partnership with Frito-Lay. One of them is Doritos spicy sweet chili flavored meat stick, and it's got that purple color, sort of like those chips they have of the same flavor. And then this one's a little bit odd because it's not Flamin Hot Cheetos or Doritos, it's just Flamin Hot. So what they're promising here is I guess the standard Jack Links sausage meat stick, but it has the Flamin Hot seasoning applied to it. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the packaging here. You've got the Jack Links logo at the top of both. You have the wonderful Doritos logo that I like quite a bit, and you got the Flamin' Hot logo on that one. Spicy sweet chili, and then they give you a little picture of the chili sauce. Serving suggestion, but where are you supposed to get that from? I don't get it. And you have the fire coming up there. Original meat stick. Both say casing colored. Little Monsanto warning there. 5 grams of protein each. And then here we have the clear back of the package. The sweet and spicy Doritos at the top again. And down below here the more reddish colored Flamin' Hot. Now the first one I'm going to try is the sweet and spicy chili, because the Flamin' Hot may be so hot that it throws off my taste buds for the next one. So I have to say the aroma is pretty overwhelming in the meat aroma department. It's just a hint of like a Doritos dust aroma, but I wouldn't say it's it might be a little bit of a chili aroma there. But and I think the two things we're going to be looking for on this is, number one, how tender is it, and number two, how spicy on the Robert Dyer heat scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being extremely hot. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. Well, I'll say on the first bite, the flavor is delicious. It's fairly reminiscent of the Doritos chip, but it just adds a little something to the spice that's already in the sausage, in the meat stick, as they want to call it. It's obviously a salt bomb, which always helps in the flavor department. And as far as the tenderness, it could be worse. It's not the ideal tenderness I would like, but it's a lot better than the typical beef jerky situation. Great flavor is no good if it's like a Michelin tire. Well, that bite was a notch tougher than the first one. It's definitely something that takes a bit of chewing, but not as much as the standard beef jerky. But again, the flavor is great, but on the Robert Dyer heat scale, this is only a 1 out of 10. It's barely a zing in terms of heat. Speaking of heat, now let's examine the Flamin Hot, which I find is a little bit annoying because personally I'm not all that big on real hot foods. I'm not really into these things that destroy your digestive system with every bite. I'm not in that target audience, but for me the thing that's annoying is when something is just real hot and it doesn't have any flavor. That's why I'm not real big on just Flamin' Hot. You know, it's got to have the Cheetos flavor with it or something. So when they just say Flamin' Hot on this, I'm somewhat skeptical about what the flavor situation will be. The aroma is much less. Really no aroma besides meat on this one. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. Bob, Sandro is going to be heading to the Charles Manson Institute in Huber Heights in a few days, so I'm trying to get him up to speed on computers. As you can understand, someone who's been frozen in an ice cave under a Spanish monastery since 1945 doesn't know a heck of a thing about computers, Bob. I thought something like the IBM PC Junior or the Apple Macintosh might be a little too much culture shock. So I hooked up a Texas Instruments TI-99 4A in Sandro's room so he can work with it. I don't know what he did, but some button was pushed and all of a sudden it seemed to connect to the internet somehow. I didn't even know it had a modem. The next thing I knew, a news headline came up on the screen. A news report. Special report. Outbreak of dengue fever at the Hobgoblin Mall. Hobgoblin Mall? Where's that? Dengue fever outbreak. They just closed the mall and they locked everybody inside. You can hear them pounding on the doors. And it says that Uncle Sam is going to send everybody, every home in America, they're going to send an envelope with a little special pill for everyone to take, and a check for $5, and a mail-in ballot. Dengue fever at the Hobgoblin Mall. I just recommend you just stay indoors, Bob. We're safe in here. And Sandro will bring you up some cognac when it's time for bed. It'll help you sleep better. Now, what do you have in the mini fridge in this room? Oh, you really upped your game, Bob. Nesquik. That hits the spot. Hits the spot.
Hits the spot. Woo!
Well, this kind of was, as I feared, just purely something hot, which is good if that's what you're looking for. If you want a meat stick, that I would say this is probably about a 5 out of 10 on the Robert Dyer heat scale, but there's really basically nothing else here but the standard meat stick combined with a lot of burning heat, and it's not really my personal preference. I think I much prefer the Doritos version, even though it under-delivered in the heat department, but it more than delivered in the flavor department. It really tastes good and you want to finish the whole thing. This one, I think it's purely for somebody who wants a hot and spicy meat snack. So I think in terms of a rating for these, I'm going to say the Doritos version, I'm going to give a pretty solid 4 stars out of 5. The only thing I could recommend to improve that is make it a little more tender. But as far as the flavor and everything else, it's outstanding. The Flamin Hot, I would say, I'd have to put it this way: if you want a Flamin Hot meat stick, then you personally would give it 5 stars out of 5. For me, I'm going to give this a I'm tempted to say 3 stars out of 5 because it sort of delivered what it promised. It's Flamin' Hot, and it didn't promise anything more than that, but just my personal preference, my personal score, when you combine the fact that I would like it a little more tender and I would like a lot more flavor than just Flamin' Hot. I kind of assumed when I saw this the first time that I was getting a Cheetos Flamin' Hot meat stick, and I realized later after I got home that it's just Flamin' Hot. So I'm going to say a strong 2 stars out of 5 for the Flamin' Hot stick. And then when you're setting up the tree in the double wide, you just bend it over like this and hang it up. So I hope you like this video. Share it with your friends. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time on this Christmas countdown. Bye everybody.